Hello everyone, this is James. In this video we're going to go over SSH key authentication, um, changing the SSHD config file so it only allows public key authentication instead of password authentication. So I just spun up a new cloud server and this is the IP address for us, so we're doing this from scratch. So let me go ahead and log in, and I created it on my local host, or in this case this virtual machine demo user, because we're going to add demo user on the cloud server. Alrighty. So let's add that demo user real quick. Alrighty. So let's log back out. And let's create the SSH key pair. To do that, it's going to be this SSH keygen. Now this has a lot of options. The main ones would be -B for bits, and then -T for type. DSA, ECDSA, and then the default RSA. If you don't specify -T the type, it'll just be RSA. Now, to make it more secure, you could just double the default bits will be 2048. Just double that to 4096. Be a little bit more secure that way. So let's do that. I'm just gonna do the default RSA. RSA. Yeah, RSA. But if you want to do DSA, you could do that. And then it tells you where it's going to be saved. That looks good right there. A passphrase. This is a passphrase for your local host. I guess I could put one. Okay. Now where is this? Well, it's going to be in .ssh, and then that's the private key, and this is the public key. You don't wanna show this to anyone, and this is just for you. And then this public key, let me just show that real quick. There you go, and it has the location of my virtual machine. This is what it looks like. You could put this on whichever servers you're gonna want to have key authentication. So this one public key you could put on 2, 3, 4 servers, and you'll be able to log in through public key authentication, as long as you change the SSHD config file to do that on the cloud server. So we created the key pair. Now we're gonna copy that public key to that cloud server. Now, real quick before I enter the password, let me do it because I don't know if it's gonna time out. Alrighty, so notice that I didn't put root or anything like that. You can specify the user, but since I already added demo user to the cloud server, by default it just looks for whatever the user that you logged into your local machine. Let me get out of there. To your local machine, it's gonna try to find that name on your cloud server, and if it finds it, then it's gonna copy it to that user. So in this case, it saw home demo user, then it copied it to where it's supposed to be copied, and that's all. Other ways to do is SCP, but this way is much cleaner, much easier. So now we're gonna test it out. It might still ask for the password, but we're just gonna see if the key is on the cloud server. So Again, let me just log into demo user. The passphrase that I entered. And there we go. It didn't ask for a password. Let me just do that one more time. Yeah, passphrase. Oh, let me get back into the demo user. So list ls-a, it shows the ssh.ssh directory. Let's go in there. Authorize keys. And there is the public key. Now, to be able to log in, with public key authentication and disable password authentication to make it really secure to log into the server. You're going to want to go into etc SSH and then the file sshd underscore config. Now these are what you're going to change. Now on here, permit root login. No, you never want to log in as root. You would always want to log into a user, and hopefully that user has sudo privileges, and to be able to log in from that user to root. Public key authentication, yes. And it's going to look for this key file. And there's one more. Password authentication. Put to no. Allow users. Demo user. Then what you're going to want to do is reload SSHD. And let's try it. There we go. Let me add one more user. Oh, I have to be root for that. Alright, I'm gonna add another user, and I'm gonna see if I could log in as that user with just the password authentication. If I did this correctly, you wouldn't be able to log in with just a password. It would look for the a private key and a public key pair. So let me add a user, demo user 2. Okay. There you go. Permission denied, public key, and it, gives you that stuff. But this basically means that you cannot log in with your password. It's looking for SSH key pair. Let's do this one more time. And there you go. You're able to log in. Of course, from here you can log into root. So that's how you do. That's how you set up a SSH key authentication. Again, there is a way to do, SCP, but how you want to do it is, SSH copy ID. If you're doing it to like another user, then you just put that username here at the IP address. Or if it's if it already has, you know, demo user or whatever your username is, if you already added it on the cloud server, then you just have to basically put that, and then it'll add your public key on the cloud server.